So to wrap that all up, basically the film is really about testing my body for the plastics that are in my body. So I tested my blood, I tested fecal samples. We traveled around the world. We met scientists who were looking at plastic to see if it's in the brain and even in the human placenta. So it's shocking when you kind of look at how much this stuff, the oil and gas industry, has infiltrated the human body. And ultimately, many of us are used to looking out at oil spills and being absolutely horrified by oil spills. But what we're forgetting is that these oil spills today are actually inside of the human body.
Oh, well said. And you said a lot right there. So if we unpack that a little bit, because I think it's great in the documentary, it shows the breakdown of everything in the soil from the farming perspective. Everything gets tilled back into the soil. So all these plastic pellets. So not only, it gets there in our food that way, but and then we breathe it, like you're saying. 83% of our tap water was a statistic that you had used in the film as well, in our tap water alone. So we're consuming these things through our, breathing, through drinking, through eating. And then it's all the stuff that, you're talking about testing yourself. And there's that one line in the movie that, I'm not
Oh, don't
necessarily
give
going
away.
to, I'm not. But I thought it was hilarious
Yeah.
because it's the things that we do to find out. And it's what they find inside you that comes out. And that was just once. If we were actually to go through our whole digestive tract, imagine what's lodged in there, kind of like the albatross, the bird that we were referring to at the beginning of our conversation, with all this plastic in it.
You
So,
nailed it. You nailed it. That was the key thing is like, when I got my feces, my stool sampled, that was only a teaspoon's worth, right? And that's what came out. And so what was scary was thinking about, well, how much didn't come out? And then you look at things like studies that have looked at, IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, right? A lot of people have that now. And those people, I believe it's 50% more plastic that is found in their guts. So, we know that this has an inflammatory effect. And we know now, even today, heart disease, for example, there was a recent study that came out in the New England Journal that was looking at that and the impact of people having strokes and having heart attacks and how much more microplastic was found in their plaque. So it's shocking stuff. And we're starting, because the science is still really nascent, but it's pointing, all of the arrows are pointing in one direction, and that direction is not good.
no, exactly. And then my question is, what can we do? Like there's things we can do by stop using single use. I think that's the first thing that's the easiest for all of us to do. But what do you think we need to do in regards to our bodies? Will we ever get this out? Like everybody on this planet, every animal, everything is affected by these microplastics now. How do we turn that around in a good way? Because when you're talking about heart disease and IBS and all sorts of things where our body's been infiltrated for now, for many of us, multiple decades, what do we do? It's
Well, I think there's certain things that are important to note. And it was where I was going, earlier, but we've gone on so many fun, little trajectories. One of the key problems is the invisibilization of plastic. So not recognizing how much plastic is actually in our natural world because we don't see it, doesn't look like plastic. So today, the vast majority of our clothes are plastic, right? All those synthetic clothes, all that sportswear, you go to yoga, everybody's wearing, every yoga outfit is plastic. Most sofas and couches are made of plastic. The paint on your walls is plastic. Cigarette butts are plastic. Gum is plastic. So we're not even aware of how much plastic surrounds us. Carpet is plastic for the most part. So what one can do is kind of really look at what surrounds us, the invisible stuff that we've been tricked into, so that you don't have it as much in your home. But in terms of output, one wonderful thing that we can do in terms of, as individuals. And I love this. And this is work that came out of Vancouver as well. Fantastic work that came out of, I believe, the Oceanwise team. They actually have a laundry lab that they have there. So they actually have all these washing machines, and they've been testing the microfibers that come off of clothes. And what they've realized is that if you just turn the dial on your washing machine from regular to gentle spin, when it's doing that spin cycle at the end, that reduces, just turn the dial to the left, that reduces the microplastics that you're going to produce by 70%. That's massive.
Wow, 70%.
So, yeah, and that's just like the simplest thing that you can do. And so I'm really happy that there are things like that. So like on the small level, there's things that people can do. You could also, heck, if you wanted to get a filter on top of it, then you probably caught most of the microplastics. But then if you're not shopping and buying fast fashion, that's going to make a difference. And, the great thing is we have people working at an individual level. As a part of our impact campaign, we've got all these awesome NGOs working with us: Environmental Defense, Friends of the Earth, Plastic Pollution Coalition, WWF International, and the list goes on and on and on. All these groups are doing tremendous work, whether it's on microfibers, whether it's in the ocean, all these different areas. So I really hope people come to our website too, plasticpeopledoc.com, because we've got tons of solutions, tons of partners. And then there's the intergovernmental national level as well, where, we're asking leaders to make a difference, whether it's at the plastic treaty or getting your mayor involved. So there's tons of stuff that people can do. And I'm not nearly, I feel that people can get really paralyzed when it comes to some environmental problems. This is not one of them, because we know how to live without this stuff for sure, because our grandparents did it. So no problem there. And we also know that, these changes can be made. So banning single-use plastic is one of the first things that we need to do. And if we can get that done, then we're going to be on our way. We'll have reduced a tremendous amount of the plastic burden.
I like that.